Dragon pose has many variations with many placements, different placements of the knee and the ankle. Hi everybody, welcome back to another Yin Yoga practice. My name is Eli, and today we're going to be doing some poses that are going to help you to improve your digestion. As any Yin Yoga class, any Yin Yoga practice, you can practice this class at any time. Okay, the difference between practicing in the morning or midday or evening is that the intention and the benefits that you will get. But this one particularly, you can practice in between meals, so your stomach is quite empty, but still is going to help you to digest better when the body receives some food. So we're going to start at the back of the mat, and we're going to actually come to a wide knee child's pose. So the idea with this one is that your torso will have space by when you open your knees, so your torso will have more space to sink down. So it has like a quite different approach to the regular child pose when your knees are together. So we're gonna start melting down the chest, placing your forehead on the floor. So a few things to taking into account here with your arms, for example, you can keep your hands above your head and resting your elbows on the floor. That will help you to release any tension on the shoulders. If you keep your elbows off the floor, you will activate your shoulders a little bit more. But because today we're not exactly targeting the arms, I would say just rest your hands on the floor. Trying to use this pose to sink down onto your mat. Connecting with the natural cycle of your breath. Observing how your body feels when you inhale and when you exhale. Allowing that breath to go all the way to every single part of your body. Feeling the oxygen entering into your veins, your cells, your heart, your brain, your organs. We're going to be stimulating lines of energy that are directly related to digestion, to keep this function of the body and several organs that are involved in this process healthy and free from blockages. Taking a few more cycles of natural breathing here. And gently we're going to start coming out of the pose. In Yin, you want to move slower than you think you should move. So moving one knee at a time. You have been stressing the groin area for a bit, and this is actually what happens in Yin, that you are applying stress to tissue that normally we don't take the time to stress. So the short effect of a practice is you will feel your joints a little bit mushy, like a jellyfish. This is how I always describe this when I do the live sessions with my students in the Yin teacher training. It's kind of like a mushy sensation. So that is the short effect of the practice. In the long run, we will we're aiming for those tissues to get more resilient, right? Good. So we're going to come from tabletop, and from tabletop you're going to bring your right foot forward, and we're going to do a variation of dragon pose. Dragon pose has many variations with many placements, different placements of the knee and the ankle. This one is quite common, the more common figure of dragon pose, but it's not the only one. Okay, so from the aesthetic alignment, from the aesthetic approach, the idea is to keep your ankle below your knee, so because they're stacked one on top of the other one, they're more stable, which is fine, great if you're practicing a more dynamic styles of yoga. But in yin, because we are not jumping around and we are taking our time to get into the pose and to get out of the pose, we can actually place the joints in different angles, so we target in different ways. Anyway, today we're practicing the more the better known, the more common version of dragon pose. Thanks for your hands. Don't worry, I'm already counting the time, okay? I'm just distracting you from being in this pose while I talk a little bit more about this. So you can have your hands flat on the floor. That is one option. You can come into your fist, so you elevate a little bit, maybe if for whatever reason your hands don't make it to the floor, or if this is way too uncomfortable and is not available yet, you can actually place your hands on your thighs and stay here. Okay, I feel comfortable down here. We are about to finish the time in the right leg. So we're gonna softly and gently start moving back, releasing that leg, moving the leg into tabletop. Just to give it a pause here to feel and observe the difference between one side and the other one. Good. And then we're gonna do the other side. So bring your left foot forward. Same, try to find the placement that also is going to help you to allow the front of your hip and your torso to sink down with the gravity pulling you down. And the idea of keeping, even though I give you the opportunity or the option to be over here, the idea is if actually we are compressing the abdominal area with our thigh. That's the idea of having this pose into this sequence, because we are massaging the organs involved in digestion in this practice, so we can actually improve their function. Good. So I'm going to give you some space of silence to enjoy what this pose is doing to your body. We have one more minute here. Few more seconds before we start releasing the pose. And very mindfully start moving your left leg behind, coming into tabletop for a moment. And actually there is a pose that I like to incorporate depending on where we are coming from and going to, which is downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under and extend your legs. You don't have to go all the way with the knees in extension. It's just a nice release for the knees and the hips. As you can see, I'm keeping a mild bend in my knees.
This is a more yang, energetically speaking, it has a more yang nature. So it requires a little bit more of muscular effort, muscles involvement. So because they're cold, I don't want to stress them too much. So no need to extend your legs all the way. Okay, good. So we're gonna transition now to the next pose, which is called Antler Pose. So make sure that your feet and your knees are together as close as they can go, depending on the structure of your skeleton. And we're gonna sit on the heels. This one is, we're gonna stay here for a few minutes. And Antler Pose is, I would say, one of the best poses I have found for digestion, because it keeps your torso upright. Your abdominal area is kind of in a neutral position. So after you eat, let's say if you don't have the time to do a whole practice, and we don't want to practice with a full stomach, that is clear. But if you have to do something after you had lunch or breakfast, and you have to be seated, if possible, try to sit in this position, right? Try to avoid the position when you are seated on a sofa or a chair, because you're hunching too much, you're compressing actually the digestive organs. So try to be in this pose so your spine, your torso is more in a natural shape. Good. So we're going to be here for another minute, so you can close your eyes if you want. Try to concentrate your attention by looking at some point, maybe if your eyes are open. And we're going to enjoy the benefits and the feelings that this pose give us. Great. So we're gonna start moving to the next pose. So we're going to shift our body weight to one side, and we're going to open our legs as wide as they may go, coming into Dragonfly Legs. So in this one, we're gonna add a twist, which again involves a little bit more engagement of muscles. So it has in nature a little bit more yang energy, which is fine. We always incorporate different elements. So let go of your legs. Your legs are soft, nothing is engaged here. And we're gonna place the left hand on your right knee. I'm gonna twist towards the right side. I'm not mirroring, so probably you're facing the other way. That's fine. We only have two sides, so we will do one side at a time. And we will be here for about a minute, just to give that twist to the part of the body that is our start in this class.
few more moments in this dragonfly with a twist. And gently we're going to release, coming to the center, pausing, observing, feeling, before moving to the other side. Good. So now right hand on the left side or opposite hand to the opposite leg, depending on which side do you do before. And 1 minute here. There's no need to keep your spine straight or to coordinate what happens when you inhale and when you exhale. Just let go. Let go, surrender. Use your body to make the shape of the asana in a way that it feels effective for you, that you are actually doing something, but we are not causing distress or activation, unnecessary activation of muscles and breath. Good. Gently releasing the pose, as usual, pausing for a moment. Now we're going to start walking our hands forward to come into dragonfly. Now no twist, just a regular dragonfly. And remember, we want to practice or start the pose in that space where the asana touches the body. In that moment that you feel there's something changed, there's something shifted, then you can start the pose there. Keeping your palms facing up. Keeping your head aligned with your spine. That is quite what I cue the most. The head is heavy, so if we hang the head every single time we do a forward fold, especially in a yin practice, we can overstress that area of the neck that is not needed. Observe how when time passes, it's like inviting you to go a little bit deeper without you doing anything. A few more yummy moments here. At least I'm enjoying the pose. I hope you are too. We're gonna move out of the pose, so using your hands to walk your torso up, and perhaps using your hands to bring your knees closer to you. So also your feet on the floor, maybe hugging your legs, dropping your head down. And we're gonna keep the same energy. Maybe you are already in the position in your mat, so keep hugging your knees, because we're gonna start coming all the way down to the floor. If you came down to the floor a little bit different, that's fine. Just bring your knees down up to your chest and hug your knees. And stay in this pose for a moment, keeping your eyes closed. Good. Great pose to compress the abdominal area. And now we're going to keep both knees together and we're going to start shifting knees towards one side, allowing the knees to drop down to the floor. So both knees are down to the floor, and then you want to stand your torso. You want to bring your shoulders down to the floor. If your left shoulder is off the floor, that's fine. Both knees are down to the floor. Left shoulder could or could not be on the floor. That is okay. The twist depends on so many things that it is not the same for everybody. It has to do with proportion of your femur and the rest of the bones. The range of motion in your thoracic spine, the one that is allowing us to do this movement. The elasticity or lack of elasticity of the muscles involved in this movement, the obliques. So there are many factors involved in a twist. So if you're on the floor, and it's quite common to hear teachers that knees should be on the floor, shoulders should be on the floor. Well, maybe, yeah, but that may not be true for me. And that doesn't mean that I'm not doing a good twist and getting the benefits of that. So as long as we are twisting from thoracic spine and changing the level of the hips with the shoulders, we are in a twist. Good. So we're gonna move out of this side, bringing both knees back up to the chest. And now we're gonna roll onto the other side. So actually we're gonna drop the knees towards the left. That's what I meant. There you go. So drop the knees on the left side and then move and shift the shoulders. You can extend the arms. You can cactus the arms. You can include as many variations for the arms as you feel like. Just choose one variation and stay there. And start moving out of this twist. Bringing the knees back to the center. And this time we're gonna do another pose, which is Happy Baby. So we have a few options, right? Remember, I always give you options of how to practice. So you can grab the outside of your feet. You can grab the inside of your feet. You can keep the feet up there and allowing gravity to pull your hands down. Or you can bring your feet closer to your groin. It looks like you will be in a butterfly with the legs up in the air. So choose a variation that works for you, for your shoulders. The idea with this is to compress the abdominal area. We're flexing, bringing again. This is quite similar of what we did in Dragon Pose. In the front leg, we are compressing the abdominal area with the thigh. The change of the grip, if you hold it from the outside or the inside, it will change the movement of your shoulder, right? If you have it from the outside, your shoulder is in a more neutral position from the anatomical perspective. And if you do it from the inside, you will need to internally rotate your shoulders. So you have to see which one works for you. Definitely for me is holding the outside of the feet.
Again, we're not aiming here to bring the knees down to the floor, any of that. If they're there, great. If they're not, great. Because what we're inviting here is gravity. Gravity and time. To be the stars of our practice. And very softly, gently, we're gonna release the pose. We're gonna prepare to come to the last pose of the practice, Shavasana. So if you need to make any arrangement for Shavasana, please do so. Otherwise, we're gonna extend both legs, opening the legs wider than your mat, extending your arms, closing your eyes, palms facing up or hands on your belly, your decision. Shoulders are away from the ears. And just commit to this stillness, this sensation of dissolving into the floor, being one with the mat. If you can stay in the Shavasana for a little bit longer, please do so. Otherwise, if you are moving along with me, we're going to start stretching our body, lengthening our legs and arms, and bending the knees, rolling on one side, either side, and then using your hand to help you to come up. Take your time to come out of Shavasana. If you can stay there for a little bit longer, please do so. Otherwise, I thank you for joining this class, and I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. So I wish you a very good digestion, a very happy rest of the day or night, depending on where you're practicing this class. Anyway, I will see you again in another practice very soon. Thank you.